Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the importance of increasing your income and how you can do that. In recent videos, primarily Transfer Tuesday, I've been talking a lot, or at least I've brought it up a couple of times, how I really just need to focus on increasing my income. I'm realizing more and more that that is the most important thing that I can do for myself right now. But that's probably the most important thing that you can do as well. This is also something that I noticed among my clients because a lot of them don't have a spending problem, but they have an income problem. If you're not making enough money, you cannot get ahead as you want to. Assuming you are somebody who is working toward a stronger financial future, that could be paying down debt, investing more money, working toward financial independence, whatever the case may be when it comes to your financial goals, it is important for you to cut some expenses. And there are many ways to do this. One of the biggest areas to cut is where you live. So for example, if I really wanted to save money, I don't have to live here. I could go live somewhere else. It's pretty expensive here. The same is probably for you. The most expensive thing that you pay for is probably your living situation, and sometimes we can change that. Another big area is your car payment, your groceries. You can slowly cut those things back or sell your car, reduce the amount of groceries that you're buying, or just start meal planning and really narrow that down. You can then move on to the smaller things. So that would be like car insurance. You can shop around and lower car insurance. That can sometimes be a really big thing. So some people are paying way more than they need to. And then once you shop around, you can see that you can potentially save hundreds of dollars in the year. You can switch phone carriers, get a better deal. You can cut out going out to eat or going to the movies, whatever it is that you're doing. You can significantly reduce that if that's something you're spending a lot of money on. But then once all of that happens, once you start reducing all of your expenses, or you're at a point where, a similar situation to mine where I'm comfortable living in this apartment and I don't want to have to cut any more expenses. Everything is as cut as I want it to be. What is next? And the answer to that is your income. The only way that you can change anything else with your finances, if you're not going to be cutting expenses, is to increase your income and then further that gap. So if you continue to cut your expenses or just keep them low and then increase your income, you are able to save more money, invest more money, and pay off more debt, because there's only so much that you can cut. I think a lot of the time people focus on the wrong things. So this is, something that Dave Ramsey preaches a lot, is like rice and beans, beans and rice. But I don't think that's necessary. You don't need to cut coupons. You don't need to only eat rice and beans. I think you should get to a point where you are living within your means, living under your means, but at a position where you are comfortable with that. So just to give another example, my groceries, I spend almost $400 on them every month, sometimes more, just for myself. And I prefer to do that. I'm not gonna just eat rice and beans, beans and rice, because I want to eat organic produce. I want to buy things that are more expensive sometimes because my health is a priority. So for me, cutting that out, I'm not comfortable with, but for you, that may be the case. But if you're going too extreme, you're honestly gonna set yourself up for an unhappy life or an unhealthy life. So if you're somebody who's just going down to the bare minimum of groceries, like all you're eating is ramen noodles just to save money. And I understand for some people that may be a necessity, like you are truly gonna be homeless if you're not cutting your food out that much. But hopefully you're not in that situation, and hopefully you know that that's absolutely not necessary. But if you continue to eat like that, where you're just eating the same food every day or no nutrients, then you're going to suffer the consequences later. You will probably have some health issues, you're gonna gain weight, whatever the case may be, and it's just going to also make you unhappy as well, because if you have those health issues, that will lead to stress and unhappiness. You may start cutting things out of your life that you really enjoy. So maybe you do get a cup of coffee on a weekly, or you go pretty frequently in the week, and that's something that you really enjoy because you like to get your cup of coffee. That is fine. Like, those little things honestly don't make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. So yes, you can save money by removing those things from your life, but it's also important to know what it is that makes you happy and what you want to prioritize when it comes to your money. I think I could make a whole separate video on that, but today we're gonna focus on your income. So once you've reached a point where you've cut your expenses to where you are comfortable, The next thing is increasing your income. So I'm gonna share a few things that you can do to increase your income, and this list is basically going from the easiest way to the most difficult way. The first one is to sell some things that you don't need. To be honest, this is more of a temporary fix unless you have a whole plethora of things to sell in your home, which oftentimes people do actually. But this is a temporary fix and it will increase your income if you really need to increase your income at the moment. So a lot of times we have things in our closet or in our kitchen, we have some shoes, whatever it is that you have that you don't use or that you do not need and you're okay with giving up. You can sell those, make a profit, and use that money for your income. This is a great place to start if you do really need that money, but it's probably not something that's going to help you long term. It can turn into that if you want to turn this into a side hustle, which we will get to, but if you wanted to turn this into a side hustle and, start flipping items, you could do that and make this a long-term income plan. But this is the first one because it's very easy to do. You just look around your house, grab a few things, set up a nice place to take some photos, take those photos, post on Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and you're set. I also think this is pretty fun. Once you find one thing to sell, you're like, oh my goodness, what else can I sell? And I remember when I first started doing this, there were quite a few things that I was able to make a profit from. And this was really exciting because then I could use that money and put it toward my debt, or maybe you need it for your bills. And that is a great place to start. Number 2 is to ask for a raise at your current job. I know this isn't that easy, but really it's just asking a question and it's more of a problem in your head than it is in reality. And I know that this is not the case for everybody. So I know some people cannot ask for a raise. Jobs don't always work like that. For example, my current job, I'm not able to just be like, oh, I want a raise, because I have to just wait every single year. It's based on a federal pay scale. It's just how it works. So I literally cannot ask for a raise. But if you're in a situation where you can ask for one, you have been growing in your company and you've been improving, you've been showing up for your job, then I think it is appropriate for you to ask for a raise. If you haven't received one in quite some time, or wherever it is that you work, you can try to get some sort of increase, and obviously that will help to increase your income. I put this as the second easiest because it is really just a question. And of course, maybe you need to plan for this. So if you've been slacking at work, maybe you need to start stepping it up a little for the next few months and then you can ask. But if that's available to you, it's a pretty simple fix. Number 3 is to get a second job. I know working 2 jobs wouldn't be too easy, but right now getting a second job is a lot easier than it is to increase your income in any other way. Maybe you've already sold your things around the house, you've already asked for your raise, maybe you didn't get that raise, or it's just still not enough. The next thing would be to get a second job, because that will basically be instant income for you. There are so many jobs hiring right now. As we all know, nobody wants to work. So many retail places are hiring, grocery stores, restaurants, fast food chains. I see it everywhere. I live in an area close to grocery stores and a whole bunch of restaurants, and every single building has a sign saying, we are hiring. I've literally seen walk in and get a job today, like start working today, or walk-in interviews. So it's pretty easy to get a second job. If you're in some sort of career where you feel like it would be a step down to become a server or a cashier, I definitely wouldn't feel that way. There's definitely no shame in getting a second job. I actually work with a woman who, she is my colleague, and now she works at the grocery store as well, just to get some extra income during the winter months. I think that's amazing. Like, yes, do that, because that's going to help you to save more money, pay down debt, whatever it is that you're working toward. And if it can put you in a better financial situation, then absolutely go for it. It is worth it. I know that it can be difficult to balance 2 jobs. It's going to take more time. This is why it's also important to know yourself and know what you're comfortable with. So maybe you only want to work on the weekends or only have morning shifts, something like that. So you've got to figure out what jobs offer that and then look into those. But if you really, really need some money right now, I definitely suggest just getting that second job. Just go for it, apply for it. You probably will get it, just assuming the way things are right now. And then you can continue to save money and get yourself in a better financial situation. Now, a second job probably should be temporary. This is something you could do long term, but I know that it can be pretty exhausting. So I understand that it's not something you would want to do for years and years. But even if you just get a second job for, like a seasonal position or for the summer, maybe it's even just a year so that you can get ahead and have that financial cushion that you're looking for, that will help you to get ahead no matter what. Number 4, side hustles. Now I put this higher on the list because I think getting a second job is way easier than being successful in side hustles. That comes from my own experience. Of course, it depends on what it is that you're doing. But in my opinion, a side hustle is more of something entrepreneurial. So that's me making YouTube videos, writing blog posts, being a financial coach. All of that is side hustles to me. Something like working for DoorDash or Instacart, that is a second job, in my opinion. I know not everybody may agree with that, but I see side hustles more of a hobby or business that you are working on the side, and it's gonna probably not earn you anything at the beginning, and with time it will. It can be a little bit more difficult to get your side hustles going, but they are 100% worth it, 200% worth it. I am so grateful that I started my side hustles because they have changed my life so much. And I definitely wouldn't be this far in my financial journey had I not started my side hustles. But I definitely want to say that I started these years ago. So I've been creating content for years. I've been on YouTube for over 10 years on my other channel that never took off. I've been a blogger since 2015. Longer than that, I was using different platforms, but more seriously starting in 2015. I didn't start earning much money from that until 2019, and I didn't hit over $1,000 from my online income until January 2021. So, maybe I did things wrong, or I did do things wrong. I've learned a lot throughout this time. There are some people who succeed really quickly and can make $10,000 in a month within a year or so, but that wasn't the case for me. So I just kept sticking with it. I chose things that I genuinely enjoy. So that's talking about finance, talking about lifestyle, health, fitness for my other channel, writing blog posts, financial coaching, all these things I'm passionate about, I'm okay with doing on the side for free. And if you keep up with it and you're just genuine about it and keep on learning how to reach success with side hustles, then you will eventually get there and it will be worth it. And for a lot of people, you can then eventually turn that side hustle into more of a full-time job or even a full business. There are lots of side hustles to choose from. Of course, you can do a quick search on YouTube of like top side hustles for 2022 or whatever it is. I'm biased. I always will say like do YouTube because I think it's the easiest and cheapest thing for you to do. And yes, it will take some time. Yes, it is highly saturated, but it doesn't matter. Like if you really want it, you will keep doing it and eventually you'll start making the money. You can create a blog, you can start selling on Etsy, you can whatever. There's so much. I'm not the person to ask because for me, it's all just like YouTube, blogging, financial coaching. Those are my side hustles, but there's a lot of things out there and there's probably something that you would really enjoy. And then with time, you can turn that into an income stream and it will help you so much. So the key takeaway from that one is that it may not be instant. It's gonna take you some time to start earning income from a side hustle. That's why I put a second job before this, because if you really need money right now, then it would be better for you to go and get a second job so that you go to work, you trade your time for money, and you will get that paycheck within a week or two. Okay, and then the final thing that I want to share for increasing your income is transitioning careers completely. And this is going to come up more on my channel. If you've been watching me, then you know that I have actually been working on transitioning careers, and that's happening. For about a year now, I have been studying something else. I am currently a microbiologist and I've been studying something else to get into the tech industry, basically. Because in my current industry, which is working for the federal government, basically being a researcher, a scientist, there isn't much growth. And I know that. So my income isn't capped per se, but I cannot make that much money. There's not promotions like that. There's not raises like that. As I said, I can't ask for a raise. I can't just go from, making $60,000 to $75,000 in the next year because I switched roles. It doesn't work like that. That wasn't the only reason why I wanted to transition careers. I can make separate videos on it. I will be making separate videos on this, so just stay tuned for that. But I intentionally chose to study and go into a career that has a lot of growth potential, not only as a person, like as a professional, but also financially. And that is one of the best ways to increase your income dramatically. As I said, I'll talk about this more soon, but spoiler alert, I did get a new job. I haven't started yet, but the offer letter's in place. I have a start date and everything. And assuming I continue down this path that I'm going on, I will probably be over the six-figure mark within a year or two. So that's me coming from making like $62,000 as a microbiologist, and within a couple of years, I can greatly increase my income, like a 40K, 50K bump. Obviously, the industry, the tech industry, or, any other industry may not be for you, and that is completely okay. There are other things you can look into, but if you're in a situation where you're like, okay, I can't grow anymore here, I need to do something. So for example, if you're a teacher, teachers don't make that much money, unfortunately. They need to make more. But you can't just teach and then the next year expect to make a lot of money. You can't even become like a professor and make that much more money. So you probably need to go into a different industry. So you could go into the tech industry like I am doing, or you could go into sales. You could go into real estate. You've got to find what it is that you would be comfortable trying out, studying, doing on a regular basis, and then go after that. Make sure obviously that there is higher earning potential there, and go after that, because it is possible, because I am living proof of that and so many other people are as well. I put this one last on the list because I do think it is the most difficult. It's going to take you a lot of time and possibly a lot of resources. So I did invest some money to make this transition. I didn't have to, but I did invest quite a bit of my own money to make this transition. Some people need to go back to college. That was not something I was interested in because I'm not looking to go into more debt. I just want to increase my income without having to sacrifice a lot of my money or time. But for you, that may look like going back to college. This is also a pretty difficult thing to go through. So I've been so used to being a microbiologist, and the tech industry and Salesforce, everything that I'm going into is completely different. I'm gonna be client facing, I'm going to be working with a team on a more tight-knit basis, and I need to learn things that I've never done before. I've never implemented these things before, and I recognize that this is going to be challenging, and you need to as well if you do make that major career transition. But this is the biggest thing that can increase your income depending on what you get into. And obviously with that, you can dramatically change your financial outlook. So those are the 5 main ways that I could think of to increase your income. Comment down below if I missed anything or whatever it is that you have done to increase your income. I did want to summarize this by saying that the most important thing is creating multiple streams of income, because having multiple streams of income provides an extra layer of protection with each stream of income. So I have my full-time job, I have my financial coaching, I have my AdSense revenue, I have my blog revenue, affiliate links. There are many things that I'm earning income from, and some of them I don't make that much, but every little bit helps, and if I were to lose one of those, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And so the more that I can increase my income in each of those areas, the better my financial situation will look and the more stable I will feel overall. So doing one of these things is just the start of it, but I think it is important to try a few of these things if that's something you're interested in. There are some people who just prefer to work a single job and have that single income. That is perfectly fine with you. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. I personally want to make more money. I want to be further along in my financial journey. So I know that I need to get a different job, increase my income, also have multiple side hustles because I enjoy them, but also because I want the money. And then that allows me to pay off my debt faster, to invest more money, to save more money, etc. So yeah, that is my thought process on all of this. As I said, comment down below anything that you would add to this, or please share your story of how you increase your income or make extra income. I would love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.